So I was thinking about doing a certain sort of tattoo, and I want to get the words, unlucky for them. I'm their reckoning. I want to get I'm their reckoning. Oh, I'm sorry. We're live. We're live. Ducky, can you hear me?
I still think that tattoo idea is amazing.
Can we get back to? Yeah. Well, speaking of that tattoo, well, how are you? First of all, how are you?
Well, I would be feeling better if I had something as alpha as that tattooed across my chest.
Why stop at the? Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, why stop at the chest?
Why stop at the chest? I mean, why not?
I did get some cheeky little bit of a shot today.
You got a shot today? A
Yeah,
shot of whiskey, shot of vodka?
My IQ or my EQ might be dwindling. I don't know.
Hey man, it won't affect your KDR, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But
look, I'm vibing. It's a Friday. You can't not love a Friday. Weekend's over. It's time to crack a cold one.
Exactly.
It's time to talk esports.
It's time to talk. Exactly. That's what we do with Snowballs. We talk esports and we talk it good. That's what I've heard, and that's what Swifty has written down for me to say, so I can cross that off. Thank you, Swifty. Yes, that's right. We're here to talk about esports, and we're going to touch on some of the new stuff before we jump into the guts of the thing. And I think I see that we've got MJ in there. We've got MJ in the chat here. He must be pretty chuffed right now, but we'll get into your business. Not right now, but we'll get into your business. But first, we're going to touch on some esport news real quick. Ducky, there's some sort of heated stuff going on in the LCS right now. It's too hot to touch. Some people say, please.
If you've been off Twitter, first of all, what are you doing with your life?
Exactly.
Second of all, you probably haven't seen Thorin's tweets recently about the double lift trade to TSM. Because that was our entire intro. Haha.
Yeah. I'm getting that tattooed.
You get it. But the tattoo is real. Nico is getting it tattooed.
Yes, I am getting it on my face. But go on, sorry.
Yeah. The gist of it, double lift is back with TSM. Which is... I've got my own reservations about that move. I personally think it's not a good trade. But let's get down and dirty with it. So double lift is signed until the end of 2021 with TSM.
Yep.
This trade was considered rather controversial considering Team Liquid just finished 9th in the regular split. And Double Lift's current girlfriend, Lena Zhu, is the TSM president.
Which is important.
Because there have been a lot of claims about conflicts of interest in the trade, that TSM approached Double Lift directly, which is against the anti-poaching laws, and then it's blowing up on Twitter. There's Thorin is talking about it, Monte Cristo is talking about it, every man and his dog is talking about it. Journalists have been... I'm going to speak broadly here and say I think the media coverage of it has been subpar for an LCS trade.
Yes.
I think there's been a lot of speculation going around and not a lot of people actually publishing comments directly from the source, and I don't think that's on the media. I think it's both a media problem and also a TSM PR problem.
So
because the facts of this claim haven't been that clear, but what we do know is Double Lift will be wearing the black and white when Summer Split starts. Right,
so it's got a lot of speculation being tossed around, but I have been made aware that Thorin's key point in his video, I had a gander at it the other day, is that he has Discord screenshots. These Discord screenshots suspect that the president of TSM, she was reaching out to different players over the team's head. But we heard, I think from a recent tweet, that was sort of, addressed. It was they said that from not our knowledge that our players weren't approached first, and then they approached us. It was kind of the other way. It was. So what's Thorin thinking? Like, why would he go on so? Why would he go on a rant so much and so passionately, only for all of it to be pulled out from underneath him? What's going through his head right now? Like,
I think some of the accusations leveled against TSM have been a bit off. Like, excluding Double Lift, there was obviously accusations that they try and poach some EU players, including Upset, who's currently playing for Schalke. I don't know. Upset's currently playing for Origin, but was with Schalke at the time.
Correct.
Anyways, the Schalke CEO, president, manager, whatever, came out and said they only went to Schalke for that trade, and there have been other people who had then backed up other EU trades also came to him. And we're like, yeah, TSM approached us directly, they're doing everything ethically. Now, while TSM, I think, haven't approached this the right way PR-wise, and obviously it's going to be a very finicky issue when you have such a star player like Doublelift, who the TSM roster was built around. After they have failed one season, he goes to a team which his girlfriend is a part of. And Liquid were apparently okay with that. I mean, Steve has said that he tried to keep Doublelift on board. Obviously, now they've got Tactical.
Yep.
It's all kind of very messy. I think people have been drawing conclusions way too fast. And I think it's kind of like people didn't want this. People knew this trade was happening, but they didn't want to believe it. They didn't want to believe Team Liquid, after 2 years of absolute dominance in the NALCS, was now just going to become, after one split of poor performances, they're going to ditch all their star power. Like,
Right.
I don't think people wanted to believe that, but I think the person I feel out of this for the most part is Kobe, the ex TSM ADC, who I thought still is a very serviceable player.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is one of the better imports TSM have gotten, considering they're known as the talent suppression machine. Like, that's a statement for them that Kobe had actually been performing for them. And now that guy's future is in complete jeopardy. He's stuck in NA. He can't get back to EU. You know, there's unlikely there's going to be a spot in him for the LEC. And I doubt there's a spot for him in NA either. And this is a guy who was in the quarterfinals of Worlds last year.
Right. And I mean, this is a bit of a hot take for myself, as though I feel like that Doublelift's time has passed. I don't know if I'm too bold to say that. I think that might be a bit controversial. I feel like that, yes, he probably will make LCS finals, but I don't think he's ever going to make it to a Worlds finals.
Well, there is a strong case out there that this is actually. I'm going to go on the devil's advocate for your argument.
Go for it. No, please do.
Which is, there is a strong case that this is the strongest NA roster ever assembled.
Come on, man! I've heard that so many times before. This is the strongest NA thing.
Every year for the last 5 years. This is the roster that's gonna get NA victory at Worlds. Like, haven't we heard that about, like, oh look, Team Liquid got to MSI finals last year. Maybe they'll pull out something at Worlds.
Yep.
Every NA team except for Cloud9 has constantly capitulated when it comes to playoffs.
Yes, exactly. I feel I feel like NA have in their head that they're the underdogs in this kind of thing. I just don't think that, like, they need to get out of that mentality that they're, like, it's really tough for them to be in a sort of space where they can see themselves as these underdogs when they dominated the scene at the start. Then as soon as, like, top tier players from Korea and China started coming in, it was just like, you're out of your league, son. And even then, like, afterwards, you're coming into more recent years, they're not competing still. I don't think we'll see NA in the World's finals for a long time. And I think that's going to trigger ties a little bit. But I'm going to wrap up this section. Yes, wrap it up. Yeah.
I personally think this TSM roster is going to fail. I've held that sentiment from day one. I think what we will still see is Cloud9 will be the best team in NA. And I'm very excited to see what Team Liquid can do with Tactical. And while I hope Doublelift can have his career end on a high, I feel like if he has another poor showing with TSM this split, I feel like it might actually be the end of his career.
Alrighty, well, we'll drop it there. We'll pick up another bit of swappy, but this time it's games, not teams. Sinatra, MVP of the split.
Oh.
MVP, big old MVP, which stands for Most Valuable Player. And this certain valuable player is moving over to Valorant.
He's the most Valorant player in the Overwatch League.
That was way better than what I said. Can I get a bit of a Valorant from you? Like, why do you think it's a good thing? This is a bad thing? What's up with that?
There are so many things that I want to talk about with this Sinatra trade. So I'm gonna start it with the trade itself. Sinatra has left the San Francisco Shock. He has now joined Sentinels. He couldn't join NRG, who wanted to get a Valorant team building around Dizzy, their former Apex Legends pro.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the rules surrounding Overwatch League ownership across games, as you can't, like, transfer players like that. They have to go to a completely different organization.
Right.
While I think that Overwatch League rule is draconian, whatever. So now he's with Sentinels. He's joined up with the likes of Shazam and Sick, previously of Complexity, NA veterans for a CS:GO for a very long time to build a roster. Because the in-trend thing to do is to start building Valorant rosters with players from other games without actually scouting a ranking system, which is only started in the game as of 24 hours ago.
Right.
But the biggest thing about this trade is Sinatra has left. Last year, his accolades included 1 stage playoffs win, 1 Overwatch League win, Overwatch World Cup win, Overwatch World Cup MVP, and Overwatch League MVP. He won everything you could hope for. And so, is it a case of he won everything, so now he's going to a different game, or is it a case of he doesn't want to play Overwatch anymore? But it's a bit of both. He said in his tweet longer that he was just not finding Overwatch fun.
I mean, he speaks for a lot of people there. To me, yeah. Overwatch hasn't been fun ever since they switched up Roadhog's hook. Where
all right. You've hated Overwatch for a long time.
I've hated Overwatch for a long time. I made it to 3K, and as soon as they changed that hook mechanic, I've been down in the bottom ranks, and I do not like it down there. And afterwards, I'm angry at the end of each game. I'm just like, I have all this unbridled anger inside of me. So I can kind of sympathize or empathize. I get what he's coming at, really, because, I mean, the Overwatch League, and I feel like we touched on this earlier before the chat, so I'm going to grab a quote that you said. It's a good, what was it? It was a good game that you can play around, a good casual shooter that we can play.
Overwatch is, designed to be a casual shooter.
Yes.
In my eyes, Blizzard tried to force an esport onto it, and this is a company notorious for killing games that were already esports. StarCraft 2. HOTS.
Oh, HOTS. HOTS.
Blizzard have arguably the worst track record when it comes to managing an esport. And so then when they designed Overwatch, they designed a game which had potential to be an esport and then killed its esports potential purely through development within a year.
Right.
And so Overwatch has been on struggle street ever since. Now that, our first 2 seasons were alright. We got the expansion in Season 2. Season 3 was meant to be the big hurrah. Where it's we're going to get home stands, we're going to be able to get every team out, and people are going to be able to interact with their fans. And obviously, given the current global climate, that hasn't happened.
No.
But every other esport has also struggled with that. Overwatch, however, has struggled with adapting to that more than most. There's a wonderful Twitter video going out, and if you haven't seen it, I'm going to link it into the Twitch chat. This basically sums up Overwatch right now. It's the circus video we were watching before.
All right, okay, good. As long as it's safe for work, I'm happy with
it. It's not the Mac one that we were looking at.
Okay.
But yeah, Overwatch it's a fish rotting at the head.
Okay. Well, we can talk all day about Overwatch, but I think we should move on to our next one, which is, if people didn't catch it, Rainbow Six Masters were on this week. We're more than happy to chat about Rainbow Six. Both Ducky and I play that game quite religiously ourselves. And the people over at Ubisoft are wonderful, passionate people. I've said that on Twitter. I can openly say it now. But Six Masters were on this week. Ducky, you've been watching them. Can you tell us a bit about it?
Yeah, so Six Masters has ended week 1 with a few surprise results. So currently at the top, we've got TBD and Wildcard. Yes, my memory serves me right. TBD and Wildcard are at the top. They both took away wins. It's not really the most surprising result this week. We had LFO, the team who qualified through open qualifiers. They're not even a Challenger League team. Managed to take a map off Elevate, who were the number 1 seed heading into the tournament.
Tell us a bit. Yeah, tell us a bit about. I think there was a particular clutch moment that you shared with me earlier. Tell us a bit about that one, because I found that very interesting and very fascinating.
Yeah, so LFO lost the first map, Consulate 7-4.
Yep.
They were on Clubhouse.
Yep.
Got off to an absolute flyer.
Flyer.
On defense. It was 5-1. They were going really well. Obviously, Clubhouse, very defender-sided map. So there was definitely the possibility, and it was definitely not written off, that it could have just been a 7-5 and just Elevate wiped the floor with them.
Right.
Didn't prove to be the case. They came out very strong in their attack, and what better way to finish off your first game in Top Flight Siege for Mims than getting a clutch 1v2 ace with, he was in... I'm going to picture this play, and it's not going to make a lot of sense for people who don't play Siege. But he was planting CCTV.
I'm going into your mind right now. I can witness it, please.
I can witness it. Planting in CCTV, there was one down hallway and one in cash, and he swung out onto both and got. It was just perfect timing, and he just instinctually knew what to happen. And so it was great. Like, it was a wonderful play. I spoke to him as part of the Snowball Esports wrap up, which you'll be able to read tomorrow. He said like it was just a surreal moment for him. Like, it was like the fact that he could see people in Twitch chat just like screaming his name. Bearing in mind this is like one of their first games at the top flight of like, and just screaming his name. It was probably the play of the week.
Yep.
Like, it was just absolutely phenomenal, and like I feel really excited to see what we're going to see from LFO in the ahead.
Fantastic. It's one of those moments in esports that you truly, truly dream of, which is pulling off one of those clutch aces. Me personally, I wish I can get that in a casual game, let alone pulling it off in some sort of professional aspect. Yeah, sure. We'll jump over to something a bit more League of Legends centric. But before I do that, I really have to give a shout out to Fire Up Gale. Love the show. Any chance of a deep dive in the Pilot Wings? We might do that next episode. Who knows? We like taking on board input and comments. Keep them coming, people. Keep them coming, because we will be delving into the chat. We'll be delving into Twitch chat, which I do not recommend anyone does without a hazmat suit, but we will be doing it. So we're going to be jumping on to Spawn's In-House. So Spawn's In-House, if you didn't catch it, it was on last night. I heard that it's going to come on next Sunday, if you're going to catch up. In-Houses really showcases some of the up-and-rising rookies that are of the, in the League of Legends game. Some potential future OPL players, or even LCS players, we don't know. But were there any memorable moments for you, Ducky? What was?
I haven't. I'm going to admit it, and Josh is going to hate me for saying this. I haven't been able to catch much of In-Houses. I think it's a wonderful product. I think it's a wonderful product that him and Spawn are building, because I used to play in In-Houses. I used to be good enough to play in In-Houses, and now I'm not.
Well, you know what? I caught an episode. I caught 2 games, I think. I believe I caught 2 games. The both ones were Spawn and an aerial casting. And I believe there was some really strong talents out there. That people should be watching this and checking it out, because you might be seeing them in the spot where FBI is right now, or the spot where Destiny is right now. You never know. These are your up and coming. Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's a lot of like people, and I'm going to speak for the aspiring queue because I have a lot of my ex-teammates in that queue.
Yes.
There's players like Why Not and Poltron, 2 like fantastically talented junglers who you should be keeping an eye out for possibly OCS and even OPL. I think definitely OCS. There's a lot of high skilled talent, and it's also a really good environment to see your OPL pros actually mechanically show themselves. Because we all know that if you're in a team environment in the OPL, you're likely pretty good regardless. Like, you're going to have good communication, you're going to have that synergy, and that it speaks very highly for especially the top 4 teams.
Right.
But when it's in-houses, when you're making up the teams, yeah, you match up with these guys in solo queue, yeah, you might be mates with them, but it's a really good chance to show off your skill, to be able to pick up a game with 4 randoms and just go hard and prove yourself. And I feel like that's how we saw a player like Violet, in the who's now the ADC for Avant, rise up through the ranks. He was absolutely dominant in the last in-house set, and we're waiting on. It's going to only be a couple of weeks until we see who the next Violet is going to be, and so I'm really excited to see.
Right, and you know it's always exciting to see this kind of stuff, really grassroots stuff, really rising through, and yeah, please check it out because the scene needs it, and if you like League of Legends content, you'll need it. We'll go to the next one. This one's really close to my heart, which is TI 20. Sorry, well 2020. This year's TI 10.
Yeah,
TI 10 in 2020. Sorry. The international, that is, the Dota's hallmark event, very sadly is delaying this year because of what's happening in the world right now. If you have been living under a rock, well, good for you, because we haven't.
If you have been living under a rock as well, you've been keeping your social distance. That's
very
smart of you.
Very smart of you. But yeah, this is very, you know, it makes sense that this is happening, but deep down in my heart, TI was a really big mark on the calendar for me. It's something that I look forward to every year. It's, yeah, and getting that, I read that they're keeping the battle pass as well. But yeah, I understand why.
It leaves a hole in the heart. Like, obviously, it was meant to be held in Stockholm this year in August. Yeah. That's not going to happen. It's been delayed now. They haven't cancelled it. They've only postponed it.
Yes.
The likely set next date for it is going to be early in 2021, but they're evaluating constantly, and they will never let us know until they've got something locked in stone. the Battle Pass, which was previously known as the Compendium, has also been delayed, and that will also be a couple of weeks later than normal. Where I'm interested to see how this impacts how it impacts the DVC though, because the Dota Pro circuit is transforming into a regional league system, and that was meant to be happening in October after TI.
Right, so they're ramping it up a bit.
With TI now being pushed back, the implementation of the regional league system, which is meant to be qualifiers for TI 11, is going to be very jumbled, I think.
Right.
I think the regional league system is great for Dota. I think it's going to be... It is the thing that Dota has needed, is solid play, consistent play at the top level that's not just qualifiers and majors, which is basically what Dota has been for 9 years. We haven't had any rock-solid leagues for a while.
Right. And I think what's going to happen is there's going to probably be a lot more online tournaments leading up to it, like they're doing right now. They're doing so many, like the We Plays, and the wonderful team at Beyond the Summit. They're going to be doing stuff. So we're going to be seeing a lot more online tournaments as well, leading up to whenever it's going to appear. I feel like they're going to probably do a sort of more bigger online tournament in August when it happens. And hey, who knows? Maybe MEO might be online as well. I mean, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. It doesn't look like it.
Look at the Australian numbers. MEO might still be happening. If we
Come on, baby. Come on, baby. I looked at the website. The data's still there. Let's keep MEO open.
Yeah, come on. Pull
through. Come on, baby. Australians the dumb one. And we're going to jump over to the big meat, the big chunk of today's episode, which is OPL Grand Final. Grand Final. That means two teams. Whoever wins goes over to MSI. I do MSI in quotations because
because MSI is cancelled.
Popo. I wish I had a champagne bottle or something to pop here, but anyway.
That's what Tally needed, because after 7 attempts of trying, he finally qualified for an international tournament and lost his chance of going there.
So, a spoiler alert. If you haven't seen it now, I'm sorry. But Legacy won. I'm sorry, Legacy won. If you want to know
who Legacy beat as well, they beat the Direwolves.
They beat the Direwolves. If that's a spoiler, then shame on you for not watching it live. Yes, that's right. Legacy won. They won. They finally pulled ahead. 3-1. The bloody boys in green did it.
Set the record straight here. I have to set the record straight before you go on. Laura has said, "Why do I sound excited about MSI being cancelled? Does this look like the face of someone who's MSI being cancelled?" No.
This is sarcasm.
Very sad.
Sarcasm.
Sarcasm. Something that you can't portray over the internet and text, but we've got video. You can see me.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, exactly. I mean...
I just can't come last of play-ins. You know? MSI being cancelled, like, sucks. I'm going to touch on it very briefly before we talk about the OPL stuff. There are a lot of players who... on that Legacy roster, who I'd love to see on the international stage. One of them is Tally, because he's been beating at it for so long, and he's been trying so much, and he finally wins something, and he gets that international opportunity trip from him. Raze hasn't been international for ages.
Right.
Topoon hasn't been international ever.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a really promising top laner. You know, you got guys like Babbitt and Isles there. Like, Isles is such a wonderful story to follow in League of Legends, where it's like this guy, kind of unknown, and then all of a sudden, 12 months later, he's winning the OPL. It's like insane how much this player has developed in such a small space of time. He's also a very small human being. If you don't know, he's like 5 foot.
Oh, like literally, he's a small human being.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You can catch it on the Legacy like celebration clip that they did, where like they set up like party poppers for when they won, and yeah, he's like tiny.
Can I just say, I loved Carbon's Can I do a little bit of an like a intimate? Can I?
You can imitate Carbon.
Yeah, can I imitate how he did it? I don't think I can get my legs high enough, but I gotta do it real quick. Ready?
God.
So he went in, and he went.
Look at him go. Yeah, man looked hype. And like, fair play to Tim. Tim, the last time Tim won something, the OPL didn't even exist. So it's like, I feel so happy for him.
Yes.
That like, the team that was Avant-Garde Ascension and then was Legacy has finally won an OPL split after 5 years of being at the top. Not true, we won Rift Rivals, you jerk. Yeah, well, I think Claire won Rift Rivals that year. And I will stand by that point. So yeah, I think it's wonderful. I would like to break down the games a little bit.
Let's start with game uno.
Game one.
I feel like that is Spanish for one. Do not look that up. Game one. A convincing win from the boys in Legacy.
Yeah. I like it. We've got a run sheet here.
Yes.
And in this run sheet, Nico has marked every time someone played Bard, which was every game. I'm not sure if that's to piss off Carbon and Parbu from last week's episode, but we have a list of everyone who played Bard.
It is the piss off Carbon and Parbu. It is.
I'm going to piss him off even further and say I'm very happy Bard's being picked. I think he's a wonderful champion.
100%. I think he's great. He's one of the more unique champions out there. He involves something that, he has a different point of gameplay where you go and pick your meeps. You want your little meeps? Go pick them up. Fuck your AD carry. I love that aspect. Fuck your AD carry.
I also love the fact that you run Omni Stone on him. It's like, you don't need runes. You just pick whatever rune comes randomly.
Whatever.
It's great.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever goes.
Whatever flows. It's Bard, bro.
Yeah.
What
we saw from Legacy in Game 1 really set the tempo for the series. We saw Tally on those mid laners, and Reese, Tyz spoke about it in his Tyz takes. If you haven't read it, it's on snowballesports.com.
Yes, check that out. Please check that out.
Read.
Check it out. Check it out. Tyz takes. Someone link that in. I'll link it in chat while you chat away. Go ahead.
Basically, the Cho'Gath pick was amazing. Like, it was Tally using Brain Gap, as Reese described it, to get over Shock. Now, Shock is known for picking off-medic unconventional mints, but couldn't stop the Glacial Augment Cho'Gath, who was just running at him. And it was very well played on that regard. I think Raze overall had a very, very clean series, which is something Raze was struggling with at the start of the season. I called him out very early, not necessarily in pieces, but like on Twitter and stuff, that Raze was struggling the first couple of weeks, and that was when they were getting carried by Enemies. So then the Enemies stuff happened. And
we do not talk about that.
Yeah. Funnily enough, Enemies was still celebrating with them in the team house when they won. That was an interesting point I picked up.
Hey, we'll chat. Anyway, game one.
But yeah, it was pretty convincing. Just the classic Legacy strat of giving over dragons because dragons don't matter.
Yeah.
Which is completely anti what basically everyone else thinks about Season 10.
Even me. I'm just finding this out now. It's great.
They focus their things on other lanes, and they just focused on, instead of getting dragons, they got map control across the other side of the map.
Right.
And, like, basically, yeah, they won it, and, they were never in a spot where it was really threatened. It's just a really clean executed game.
That's all you need, really. Game one. I was really impressed. Like, I think, and I really quickly, I think the boys did pull it off really well there. I think they pulled away in the end there. Yeah, you could see Direwolf was a glimmer of hope, but nothing really that was really special until we touch on it a bit later when we go into the conversation a bit more. But I want to jump over to number 2, game 2, game dos. The only reason why I know that is because Zapdos. Yeah, so I just closed the rundown by accident on my browser.
Alrighty, that's
Can
unfortunate.
You run
I can run you through.
Please run me through it.
This was a wonderful game where we saw a wonderful engagement in the bot lane, where we saw the duality of Vital, where Vital giveth and Vital taketh. Vital very much giveth Legacy a near kill by throwing his Aphelios ultimate at Raze, who could have just stand there and auto attacked him in one. But I think it was just another slightly more convincing outing. Like, it was a shorter game.
Mm-hmm.
Cupcake went on to his signature Bard. Didn't really pay off.
Yep.
Like, it was just yucky.
Can I just point out? Oh, sorry, real quick. Can I just point out that on the last week episode, Pabu was telling us that during scrims that Cupcake was playing on Bard, and he said that when Cupcake's on Bard, it's an automatic win.
I mean, they won one game.
They won one game, but they lost 2. So,
I mean, Cupcake only played 2 games of Bard and he won 1, lost 1. So it's like...
well, no, he played Bard in Game 4.
There was no Game 5.
No, Game 5, no Game 4, but he played it, no, didn't he play it 3 times? So he lost to 1-1.
Isles played it in Game 4.
Isles played it. Duh! Sorry. They're both green. The teams are both green, okay? So he 1-1, lost 1. But he said that as soon as Bard is picked by Cupcake, it's an easy win. I'm curious to see what I wish we got him on the show today, but I was curious to see what do you think happened in that scenario that made Cupcake lose? Because he was so sure about it.
Legacy... Race talks about this in his piece. I'm going to lean very much on this.
Right.
Direwolves' drafts, basically the entirety of the season, have been garbage. Game 2, they gave over... I think that was another Trundle Olaf matchup. And it was like, yep, that was not good if you're the Olaf in that scenario. Oh, it's Trundle J4, if Reese is correcting me. Still not great.
Mm-hmm.
Game 3, they managed to shore it up, and Direwolves actually picked Kindred, which was a great pick into the Trundle. But, like, Vital was not... I guess he was semi-tilted. I'm not sure. Was trying to pull out some big plays, and it ended up just being an absolute snowball. And the thing was, when your ADC is inting and you're playing Bard, it may as well just be the 2 of you inting. Because a Bard that stays in lane cannot get his chimes. If he can't get his 15 and 35 chime power spikes, it's going to be incredibly weak when you get to mid lane team fights.
Mm-hmm.
And while like a Bard is great at denying Rift Heralds and stuff, Cupcake never found him in a position to do so. Like, you saw Isles do it in Game 1, where he denied the top lane tower charge on the Rift Herald because he used his ultimate. In Game 2, we saw nothing of the sorts from Cupcake.
Right. So, turns out it was not exactly the most OP thing that was on the Rift at that point. So, all I want to say is that I just found the whole Bard thing quite interesting because it really did... I don't want to use the word triggered, but it did trigger them a bit. Both players...
I love Bard. I love Bard. Play him for the life of me. I've tried to master this champion. There's 2 champions in League I can't master. One's Bard and the other one's Zara. Like, I cannot master these champions for the life of me. Like, I like to call myself a pretty serviceable, like, Rakan, Lulu, like, Nautilus player.
Right.
But, like, Bard is hard.
Bard is very hard. Bard is hard. Put that on a tattoo. Put it out on a bloody shirt.
That's going next to your unlucky one.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I am the reckoning is going to go there, and it's going to have like a whole Bible verse, and then it's going to be like, Bard is hard.
that could have so many different meanings, man.
Why not? I'll do it at any own. So, we're looking at Game 3. This is the one where, yes, Direwolves did win, but it kind of looked like Legacy let them win, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you can't discount the fact that Direwolves managed to bring one back into the series. Yeah, it was... True. I think it was the least convincing win in the entire series.
Yes.
But I think it was a good draft where Direwolves actually drafted anti-Legacy, and when Legacy tried to play the same way they played in the first 2 games, they couldn't. And so it just fell to pieces. And, like, I think it was Legacy. I'm not sure if it's Legacy, or we can put it down to Jensen, or we can put it down to a particular player. But I think the call to try and draft Trundle again, and not give Direwolves the opportunity to counterpick it was not the smartest idea. But in saying that, that game really could have gone either way.
Mm-hmm.
I think at the end of the day, a lot of this series came down to that Legacy executed it really well, no matter if they were ahead on team comp or behind on team comp from the drafting phase alone.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was pretty much just the story of the series, and this arguably the story of 80% of this OPL season.
Perfect. And then we're on to the final one. The final one, I think, was the game 4. I think.
Your very good Jin impression there.
Thank you.
4.
Which was a lot on the Tally Cho'Gath.
Oh.
That thing was an absolute monster. Literally and in-gamerly, it was a monster.
I mean, Cho'Gath is a monster.
Cho'Gath is a
Yes.
monster.
I think this is the benefit of having a top laner as a mid laner. You can have top laners play really dumb, easy, brain dead tanks,
I love it.
and mid laners don't know how to play against it. The only mid laner that I would trust to play into a Cho'Gath is Shock, because Shock also plays these really off-kilter champions.
Right.
But like, I don't know, there was just no stopping Tally that game, and it was like really clean synergy, trundle pillars and stuff. It was just wonderful to watch, and yeah, that was aside from a Baron steal that gave Direwolves just the teeniest little bit of hope. Yeah, that was a long lost cause.
And unfortunately, that was the end of the series and end of Split 1. It's good to see Legacy coming on top, though, the dominant team of the series. I don't think anyone... I mean, we did a prediction last week, and I only picked Direwolves because everyone else was picking Legacy, and I was like, yeah, honestly...
That's what you like to say, bro.
That's what
you
I
like to say.
What
you don't like to admit is your primary game is Dota, and you just picked the cooler logo.
Next segment.
I know MJ's in chat. Don't flame me.
No. I think two teams showed up and the better team won at the end of the day. I know that's a cliche statement, but that is what happened. The Legacy felt like they were here to play, they were here to win, and that's what they did. Direwolves.
Thank you, Basil Zemplis, for your scintillating analysis on the OPL final.
But I think I think this is us putting a bit of a close on the OPL Split 1. It was very interesting. It was not without its controversies. It was not without its memes. I sounded like a boomer when I
said the OPL.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't it was just.
Bro,
while we don't get anything out of it in terms of international opportunities, I think it was like an interesting split.
It was an interesting split.
It was an interesting split.
It was, and then you have a pause. Interesting. And pause. But
you know what else is interesting, bro? I'm gonna lead you in now.
My hand is off the wheel. Go ahead, take us away.
Have you heard of the wonderful website twitter.com/aray7?
I have heard of that.
Yeah.
I have heard that. Whoa!
It's the home of Andrew Ray.
Who's Andrew Ray?
Up to recently? What has Ray been getting up to?
Well, I like to call this a little segment that I like to call. What's up with Ray? What's up with Ray?
Felt like you've just gone down to the pub. You've got the 4 blokes on the bar.
Exactly.
You're sinking pints and you're going like, oh, what's wrong with the 5th bloke that didn't come tonight?
What's up with the 5th bloke? This segment is what I just came up with today. This segment is where we go on Ray's Twitter and just see what he's up to. That's basically all it is. And
Do we have the fancy technology to pull it up on screen?
We don't, but I want to get that up next week because these are fucking good. Now, this is how the segment goes, and I'm just gonna who is Andrew Ray? Andrew Ray is a lovely person. That's all you need to know. But Andrew Ray is one of
know Andrew Ray.
Exactly. So, this is where we take a deep dive on Ray's Twitter, and we sort of just go in and just see what's up with Ray. Because he's not doing well in ISO, apparently. He's not doing very well in ISO.
He's not doing very well in ISO.
Let's go to one that I like today. Let's go. What's up with Ray? Another strange trait I've developed since working from home is I'm getting the human equivalent of zoomies and doing shit like shadow boxing between meetings or doing the in-betweeners dance to random songs.
If you haven't been following Ray on Twitter during ISO, you've been doing something wrong with you. Like we've gone from this man. He's gone from a pop star. Like honestly, voice of an angel. You should definitely go and watch it. He's now a bartender. He's been making highballs on Twitter. You know, he's a professional dancer.
Yep.
You can catch it at musicals and Broadway.
100%.
And
next,
like,
wait, can I really go to? Can I go to the next one?
Yeah, go. I love hearing whatever's happening with Ray.
What's up with Ray?
What's up with Ray?
I bloody miss the gym almost as much as I miss the pub. I tell you what.
Man, that's a vibe for Ray's a gym rat. But I've got something to say about Ray. You know,
Right.
that man gets beaten up by Lisa way too many times at the boxing gym.
I've seen some hard videos.
Yeah, Lisa is just a fiend at the gym compared to Ray. He's a bit of a softie. I hope he's getting his push-ups in an ISO.
Well, apparently he is. He's doing a lovely little thing for Headspace. He's going to be doing, I forgot how many, it's a large number of push-ups, more than I'm willing to do. But he is going to be doing some really nice stuff for Headspace where he's doing push-ups. Check out his Twitter. Please, God, donate to this man because he needs this right now. One more before we head off to our next segment.
What is it?
What's up with Ray? First attempt at a highball, and it's just a picture of a glass filled with highball.
Yeah. His bartending career is off to a strong start, bro. But he's not the one for highballs. He's an espresso martini kind of guy, so I don't know what he's doing there. Maybe he just doesn't have an espresso capsule he can pop at home. You are vibing, man. This man is one beer and one G&T in, and he's absolutely vibing.
that is what's up with Ray. We'll see what we can do with that segment if we're going to the future.
We will bring up Twitter next week.
God damn! Please don't fire me. Now, if you thought the funs were over, well then you're wrong, because this is where all the funnies start to kick up a gear. This is what we call the fun segment, or have I labelled it in this rundown sheet, the fun segment. Ducky, do you know Faker? Have you heard of Faker?
I think he's some small-time League of Legends player.
Some small-time...
I've heard his name around the block a little bit.
I mean, he played Zed that one time, right? Not that big.
Yeah. I think he did alright in that Zed play. I can't really tell. I think he won it.
Exactly. I think he did okay. Well, anyway, apart this guy called Faker, I heard that he was releasing some confectionery.
He's an ice cream man now.
He's an ice cream man.
He is.
He's on
with the Mr. Whippy down at the beach.
Exactly. He's in the car. He's at the back, and he's like, "Would you like some ice cream?" And people are like, "Oh my God, is that Faker in the Mr. Whippy van?" And he's like, "Yes, it is Faker in the Mr. Whippy van. Your Korean is very good. Here's an ice cream." And this ice cream, it's in like 3 different flavors, I believe. I saw it in the photo booth. He was holding up 3 different flavors. 1 red, 1 purple, and yellow, I think. Anyway,
yeah,
they look great.
It's flavors of assorted things, but yeah,
exactly.
Faker is now the face of ice cream. He is the face of ice cream.
And if I'm going to be honest, isn't that the dream? Isn't that the dream of all esports players, to be the face of an ice cream, like an ice cream confectionery, something with sugar in it? I want my face to be on that.
I feel like most gamers would be more appealed to like energy drinks and stuff. But yeah, I feel like, you know.
Well, that's a great segue to what we're going to do now, which is what happens if they started making OPL branded confectionery stuff? Ducky, can you take one away, and then we'll go in tandem.
Some of these are absolutely awful, and I have to apologize to the viewers before we actually start this.
To be fair, I came up with 90% of them.
I'm going to start off with the one that I devised first, which is Juves for Jubes.
Juice is Jubes. Now,
Juice is Jubes.
If people don't know this, Jubes are those like small green lollies that you put in your...
They're like gummies. They're like gummies. They're like harder than gummies.
Yes, they're like harder. They're green and they taste like absolute... they're not good. I hate them.
They're wonderful, bro. They're awesome.
Oh my God, this is where I draw the line. Look, you're a nice guy, Ducky, and we brought you... You know what?
Are we cutting the podcast off earlier?
No, we're not cutting the podcast earlier, but I mean, okay. Your days are numbered. This next one is Chippies.
I think Smith should just rebrand to this.
Chippies.
Maybe this is just the name of, like, you know how Pauline Hanson had her own fish and chip shop.
Yeah, please explain. I love it.
Maybe this is what Chippies calls his fish and chips shop after he retires.
Chippies fish and chips. I love it.
Chippies.
He'll never retire.
At this point, yeah, I'm kind of agreeing with that sentiment because he seems to be kicking around.
But we said confectionery, so Chippies falls under confectionery, does it not? Doesn't it? Well, I'm vetoing that now.
I'm going to give you a pass. I'm going to give you a pass.
Can you give me another one, please?
Give you another one?
Yeah, slam dunk it.
I want a cupcake from Cupcake.
Cupcake's cupcake.
They're just cupcakes, bro. Like he's the quintessential one. He is named
Cupcake
after confectionery.
We took a deep dive in that one.
We really did. We really had to rack the brain's trust for that.
Exactly. We did a heist in the brain vault and we pulled that one out. Not exactly the diamond that we wanted, but hey, I thought it was good. If anyone has any ideas,
they're asking us to change letters. So do we want to go for something like, oh, we can't. I want to do this one, but we can't change letters. What about a good old Violet Crumble?
Violet Crumble. Violet Crumble. That's easy peasy lemon squeezy. I love it. If anyone has anyone in chat that has a suggestion of what they would put an OPL player, their confectionery, please post one.
Let us know.
Let us know. Otherwise, we're going to be
Friday. Our brains are fried. We just want to eat food.
Otherwise, exactly.
I've got a cinnamon bun.
He's got a cinnamon bun. I've got nothing anymore. But we're going to fire off a bit more hot solid gold toward your way. Claire's Eclairs.
Now that's a patissier I'd go to.
Claire's Eclairs.
How about Prowler Roll? Come on, bro.
He's
not even called Prowler anymore. You got to work him for long one, bro.
Jesus, Ties with the fight, slinging heat.
Okay. If Faker is doing ice cream, then Ubisoft can do Ubisoft Serve.
Ubisoft.
I've just done your next tweets for about a week. Ubisoft, you can pay me. I'll link you my Bitcoin.
Ubisoft Serve ice cream. Okay.
I think we need to wrap this up. One more,
please. And so I don't know, because both of these are really good. So the last ones we have are Shock Chock. Shock Chock.
Is that going to be like choc with like popping candy in it?
Oh, dude. Oh, you know, we should message Shock right now and just say, hey man, we have an idea. Do you have $1 million? And he goes, no. And we'll be like, good, because you're about to get some. And
we can ask Swifty for the line to Capri shortly.
Exactly. I've got some sort of Shock's Donuts. I like that one. And the last one is Rare 7-Up.
Yes, soft drinks are technically confectionery, according to Nico Howell on the other side of the screen.
Anyway, that's the fun segment.
This is what happens when Nico has a couple of alcohols.
I haven't had that many. How dare you?
Yeah. How dare I assume you've had a couple of alcohols? I have a line. Capri. Look, Swifty, I know what the number one thing you want in life is, and it's a KFC black card.
Please, don't we all? Don't we all?
Don't we all want a KFC black card?
Now, so first of all, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us for this OPL sort of wrap up. We didn't really delve deep into it all, but I think we sort of touched on a few things that, I personally was interested. Bard to me, when Bard first came out, he was not even banned. No one picked him. Now he's like hot property.
Nerfed now, but yeah, he is very hot property.
Nerfed now. That to me is a step up. If he's getting nerfed, he's getting looked at. Anyway.
Wrap it up for us, Nico.
Exactly.
What's happening this week?
So this weekend we're going to do a little bit of Monica in my life, a little bit of Dota. That's what I like as well. So two big games coming in tomorrow. We've got the Epic Prime League for Dota 2. If you want to check out some really some solid Dota 2, I believe it's in. I've got the location here. That's great. That's great work from me. That's happening on later tonight. Tomorrow we've got some more Dota 2. We've got the We Play stuff coming from the Pushka League. We Play, they do solid production work. If you please go check it out. If not, the reruns, because it's at 12 a.m. tonight, and I don't think people are going to get up that all stout. No, what am I talking about? People are going to be up that late. Check it out. Check
it's
it
gamers. We're talking to a bunch of gamers, Nico.
Ties, I know you're there. Check it out, Ties. I know you're there. Sitting down in your chair. I see you.
Ties wouldn't couldn't bring himself to watch Dota, bro.
Yep, Overwatch is on if people still interested in that. If the 50 people that are still watching it want to check it out, check out that stuff. Overwatch League is on tomorrow at about 3 p.m. our time, or Sydney time, or Freedom time as I like to call it. You got the ESL 1 Road to Rio. EUs are on tomorrow morning. You'll be able to catch that at 2:30 a.m. And if you hate that timestamp, which I do, you can catch it on the rerun, which will come on later on. Are you excited for anything, Ducky, or is that a loaded question for you?
Excited for Six Masters on Tuesday, bro. That's very exciting for me. Six Masters Tuesday, 7 p.m. AEST.
Please check out the Six Masters.
Very wonderful games.
Exactly.
The Six Masters. I'm also very excited to see the MDL action kickoff back in Oceania. That's been happening throughout this week. Also, Oceania Road to Rio stuff. It's all happening.
It's all happening.
And just one last thing. So I know we're just about to wrap up.
Yes.
This was breaking news today. Was it broken by Snowball? Let's claim it was broken by Snowball.
Yeah, let's do that.
Oceania now has a spot at TFT Worlds. Let's go. Well, I say we have a spot. It's not actually guaranteed. We're going to be rolled into the NA region, where 4 of Oceania's best. We're going to be going up against 20 of NA's best in a 24-player bracket to qualify for 2 spots for the TFT Galaxies Championship with $200,000 on the line.
So you said there's a chance.
Oh, look, don't we love a good underdog story? Hasn't that what we've been taught across all of OCE esports for the last decade?
I'm a big fan of underdog stories. I love oceanic underdog stories. So
that's what we've been good at. So hopefully, I know there's a few very talented players on our server. We've also been the server that has like forged a lot of the meta comps. It's just, I'm very excited to see what could possibly come out of this, and I'm totally not biased because 5 people on my uni team are Masters Plus.
Yep.
And I'm the only one unranked. So I'm very excited to see if we can possibly get an Oceanic player to Worlds. Riot will finally put us on notice and not dog the boys again.
100%. Ducky, I can't agree with you more. And I'm excited to see where that goes. Thank you everyone for tuning in for this lovely little show, this little nugget of entertainment for you guys. I hope everyone's staying healthy, keeping social distance, and I hope everyone has a good time. All right.
Be sure to follow Snowball Esports on Twitter. Check out snowballesports.com. Follow this man on Twitter, Nico Howe.
Other way. Yeah, there you go. And follow.
He's outside. He's outside.
There's our socials there. Feel free to follow if you want to hear more jargon. Follow, as Ducky said, follow Snowball. Please tune into In-Houses. Please tune into Six Masters. Those are some really good grassroots esports coming.
Oceanic esports.
Please, I'm going to get that tattooed on me. I'm going to get that tattooed on my ass. Please watch Oceanic esports.
You're running out of space on your chest now, aren't you?
Exactly. I got a 30-minute Thorin transcript on my chest now, so that's got to be it. But anyway, thank you so much for everyone tuning in. Take care. Stay safe. Ties, I love you.
I love you all. Hugs, kisses, and misses.